Assalamu alaikum, dear students of class 10th. This is your teacher, Mr. Manzoor Ahmad Malla, teacher at Govt High School, Kachloo. And today we will be discussing some new space for women. This is the subtopic of what we have already discussed about the growth of modern education in Jammu and Kashmir in the post-independence era. So in that very topic, we have already discussed about some of the measures, some of the steps which were taken by the new regime, that is under Sheikh Abdullah and Bakshi Ghulam Muhammad, to modernize this education system in Jammu and Kashmir. And today we will continue that very topic and we'll discuss about the education of women. As far as women education is concerned, this women education led to their greater mobility, and women begin to step up outside the four walls of their homes. Earlier on, their students, the women education had faced many hindrances, as women were not led to receive education. There were no schools, intermediate schools for the girls, for the women, and she was only confined under the four walls of the house, as we all know about that. But during this new regime, this women education had greater mobility, and now women begin to take part, women begin to receive education in different educational institutions set up by this new regime. And with the result of this women education and employment that women got after receiving education, it had also led an active presence of these women in the public sphere. And this achievement of women during this period, that is during this new regime, that is during under Sheikh Muhammad Abdullah, it was so high that it altered the general landscape of schools. Altered means that it led many changes in the landscape of schools, in the general landscape, in fact, in the colleges, general landscape, in the college, general landscape of the office, of the courts, hospitals, hotels, and business establishments. Thus, women began making a mark in every field. So, apart from this women education, several steps were also taken by these new leaders of the government, that is some healthcare facilities. And if we talk about the health facilities, a number of the steps were taken by the Dogra rulers and the successive Abdullah government to provide better health services. We have already discussed about Dogra rulers of Jammu and Kashmir in class 9th, and in that very class we have already discussed that these Dogra rulers also took some greater measures and steps to mobilize these healthcare facilities in Jammu and Kashmir. And when new government came into existence after the post-independence era in Jammu and Kashmir under the leadership of Sheikh Muhammad Abdullah, who was the most popular leader of Jammu and Kashmir at that time, he also provided better health services. But due to the insufficient resources available at that time, he could not address these problems what Jammu and Kashmir was facing at that time. So it is said that it was only during the reign of Bakshi Ghulam Muhammad, the then Prime Minister of Jammu and Kashmir, in 1953. He was the second Prime Minister of Jammu and Kashmir, and he took the concrete efforts for the growing demand of effective health services. As we have already discussed his broad vision, he wanted that Indian government should provide financial assistance to Jammu and Kashmir government. That's the only case, that's the only area that we can facilitate our health services. So he brought some experts outside Jammu and Kashmir and increased the budget, that's the annual budget for the health services, by more than 50%. And with the result of that, when this investment was made for the health purpose, the number of the hospitals increased dramatically. So we have a figure which is being given by this in this textbook, that the number of hospitals during Bakshi Ghulam Muhammad's reign increased from 2 to 19. This figure would clearly explain that how much efforts were taken by the Bakshi Ghulam Muhammad government to facilitate, to promote, to grow the healthcare facilities in Jammu and Kashmir. And as far as dispensaries are concerned, the number of dispensaries also increased from 87 to 401 by the end of 1960s. So a crucial and most important step that was taken by this government under Bakshi Ghulam Muhammad's reign was that earlier on in the hospitals, a huge amount of fee was levied on the patients who were operating in hospitals in Jammu and Kashmir. But during Bakshi Ghulam Muhammad's reign, a big step was taken that this operation fee that was levied in these state hospitals, it was completely abolished. Now patients could operate themselves. Now patients could operate, in fact, in these state hospitals without any fee. So, dear students, that was all about for today, and that was all about for the growth of modern education, the new space for women, and the healthcare facilities during the post-independence era of 1947 in Jammu and Kashmir. Thanks.